Hi everyone, happy Friday to you. I hope you're looking forward to a nice weekend. And first of all, thank you very much that you have taken the time to join our webinar. I really hope you will find this to be a very useful session. Well, we'll start. The goal of this presentation is really to make us all rethink the screening process and the reason we develop screeners as we do nowadays. And as young researchers, I believe it is really, our task to revisit processes and adapt them to the needs of the current market situation and fuel technologies, technological advancements also into the current way of recruiting. So this is why I'm giving this presentation. It is not my intention to reinvent the screening process, but really to be questioning the way we screen. And I want us to think of a potential solution for this. Let us start by picturing the current market situation. The healthcare industry continues to evolve. We are all facing technological advancements, smartphones, iPads, G4, finally also on the Dutch market. Researchers, clients, and respondents are connected via the internet. Timelines, geographies, and boundaries between professional and private social media are fading. And as a direct response to this development, decisions need to be taken in shorter time frames, as a result of which market research needs to provide decision makers with quick and accurate insights. So time is valuable and precious in many ways and at all levels, and competition is fierce in medical market. There is more pressure than ever to anticipate changes and decide on ways to accommodate those. Hence, time frames decreased from a couple of months to a couple of weeks. So decision makers really need to get those quick insights. Well, while the industry has already found ways to adapt to the modern making decision process and fit increasingly short timelines, the art of finding the right respondent has become more complex. And I'm wondering whether this is ideal. We feel the need to revisit the recruitment process. In contrast with the rapid market evolution, recruitment has become more and more complex and time-consuming. We see, we deal with loads of quota requirements, which are more and more strict, and looking for the needle in the haystack has become the norm. A lot of time and energy is being spent on discussing, negotiating, and finalizing screening questions and details on topics that we are all aware of. These screening criteria includes patient volumes, brand awareness and preferences, prescription numbers, and often challenging expectations result in high screen out rates that lead to last-minute screener adaptation and recontacting or re-inviting respondents that had previously screened out. I'm not sure whether you have ever had the chance, to take a screener. I've recently talked to people who have said that they actually wanted to take a screener to have the experience, to see, to help them develop screeners in a better way. Just imagine for a second that you are my respondent, that I have been chasing you, to speak to you. And after like 1 week, I get the chance to talk to you over the phone. So I take you through the screener, which sometimes takes maybe, 10 minutes or even longer. And after a couple of questions, I realize that you are not the right respondent, that you do not match the screener totally. Just maybe because you don't see the minimum number of patients or just a couple of patients less, or because you prescribe just a little less than mentioned in the screener. Well, I'll have to finalize the screener and finally tell you that, thank you very much for your time, but you don't match the screener. If this happens, for the same project already several times, I would go back to the market research agency and discuss the situation, because recruitment will finally not be successful. we would, of course, discuss possibilities of relaxing quotas, but market research agency would not be able to take that decision on their own. They would go to the end client. The end client would probably have to align with a project team on these, and we are days, sometimes weeks farther before a decision has been taken. And as recruitment is not progressing, very good, we would have to go back to those respondents to re-invite them. So I want you to imagine, you are now my imaginary respondent, so I want you to imagine for a second that you are that respondent. How would you feel about this if it was you I had on the phone? What would you feel if you were rejected, but then were begged to come back? Would you still genuinely believe that you were the right respondent, the right candidate to participate in that study? Would you still be eager to participate? Would you still believe that the information you would provide us during the session would be valuable to us? Well, let me tell you that if this happens several times with one respondent, we risk to lose him for future market research, while we know, and they know, that they are the precious source of insights that we are all looking for. So, as we have faced such situations, and this becomes, the norm nowadays, our team set out to create a solution that should help us save time and avoid these kind of situations. And we propose recruitment profiles could offer us all the solution. And I'm wondering if you have ever thought of the power of matching profiles. Well, the concept is the same. Examples are out there. Think about headhunting, real-time match of demand and supply, even dating sites. Okay, I won't ask, and I haven't created any pool there to ask you whether you have ever been on a dating site. I'll just leave that with you. But the concept is the same. We are all aware of matching profiles. The first step, which is the most important in working with profiles, is really to know the target, know the market. And if you are you are not very familiar with that specific market, just ask the local recruiters. They will be able to help you further. They will be able to provide you with advice and provide you with information to get a good picture of who your target is. Well, at the moment that the recruiters are being presented with a clear research objective and target customer profile, what they will do, they can match respondent profiles from their database or source respondent profiles via other channels, including social networking sites. So recruiters are able to make a soft pre-selection, create a kind of a profile, upon which the target group is presented with this profile. If the target group identify with the profile, an appointment can immediately be made, an interview even can be conducted, or a link be activated. So it makes recruitment timelines between sending out the profile to actually getting insights much shorter. And identifying, interview with the right KOL, the one patient suffering from a rare disease, or even the general practitioner would be made easier and quicker once screeners are put aside and profiles are being introduced. Okay, I hear you thinking, won't respondents take advantage of this situation by pretending to fit the criteria? What about people signing up that do not entirely match the criteria? Or what about my patient numbers? Or I don't know, other screening criteria that are potentially not met? Well, similar to headhunting or dating sites, profile recruitment runs into the same risks of other promising profiles, sometimes non-active members, and we are aware of this. Therefore, we have investigated how accurate the information is that respondent provides during the regular screening process. So what we did, we have been looking into the screening data of various COPD studies over the past 4 years. And we have identified respondents who have participated in 10 of these studies. So we are talking about 4 years, 10 studies, COPD studies. And after having analyzed their responses on the number of patients they treat in an average month, we have came to the conclusion that their responses are not consistent throughout the different projects. And we are not talking about, you know, small differences like 10 to 20, 30, because that's possible. We are aware that COPD patient numbers may swap around because, you know, patients would die, new patients would appear. But we are talking really about differences about, you know, 50 to 100 to 150 patients. So this leads to questioning the added value of the screening information. And I have a strong feeling, we as a team have a strong feeling that this is only the tip of the iceberg, that there is so much more beneath the water. And I'm wondering how this data that we are getting in the screening looks like for other types of projects, for other conditions, for other diseases. What does that actually mean for certain type of projects where you need reliable data to, you know, give your clients certain recommendations? So considering the above and the current need for quicker insights, faster insights, we wonder whether this searching the needle in a haystack type of recruitment is still realistic. Does it still match the need of the market that we are in? Well, we feel that screening process is ready for an overhaul. And at the moment, profile recruitment is really the best way forward, you may think, for recruiting difficult target groups. And we did that. We have worked on several patient projects where we have used profile recruitment. Recently we have worked on a patient project where we had to recruit patients who discontinued a particular drug on their own initiative. What we did for this project, together with our client, we have put up a profile consisting of really the key 2 or 3 characteristics of this patient. And we have worked with different parties. So we have used recruiters, local recruiters, but we have also reached out to physicians and also to consumer panels. So we have brought in different parties to help us find these respondents because it was not easy, and we and our clients were aware of this. It worked successfully. So really the profiles seemed to be easy to work with, and we have finally identified and found those patients. We have also worked on projects with KOLs and payers, key opinion leaders and payers for in the orphan disease area. What we have done in this case was, after creating the profile, we have sent the profiles over to potential participants, and the KOLs and payers generally indicated to be the right or the wrong respondent. And the beautiful thing of this was that those who have indicated not to be the right respondent have even helped us in referring us to even better matching respondents. And this is really the strength of profiles. They do not have to deal with, you know, the 15, 20 screening questions. No, they really have the essence, and they know their network even better than we know them. They are able to lead us to even, you know, better match. If you think about panel agencies work already based on profiles. Each respondent has a certain profile. So I know from consumer panel agencies, they would not send an invitation to their whole profile. No, they would first pre-select based on 2 or 3 screening information, and they would send the invitation to those particular potential respondents who, based on the information they have in their database, would match the goal of the study. Profiles exist already, and we argue that profile recruitment should become the norm for all market research studies and all target groups to facilitate quicker time to insights. Really, the example with the KOLs is really a great example, and also a great reason to use profiles, because in very small networks where you do not have any entrance, it is so much easier to be helped by people already in your own network to reach to those people. But think also, for the sake of timelines, it is so much easier to get insights from a respondent you already have on the line. So not going through first an appointment, then going through the screener, then deciding whether they match the screener or not, planning meetings, etc. So profile recruitment exists, and I believe it is time to re-enhance the potential of working with profile, utilizing the power of technology we have at our disposal, but also the knowledge of the recruiters to get the right match. Okay.
Great, awesome. Thank you so much, Anna.
You are welcome.
I think we have some questions coming in. Please continue to send your questions in to us. I've got one here. I'm going to read it out. So when dealing with RFQs, how much of this profiling is mentioned? They say, I often find clients want to drill down to specific groups of patients with comorbidities. Knowing at proposal how likely we are to get them would be a great help.
So if I get your question right, it's really like how much information can you seek from your clients on specific groups that would help you in the RFQ to really identify whether you can get those respondents or not. Well, I think that's crucial, and I think as recruiters, it is really our task to somehow educate our clients on the market situation. So I'd strongly advise, every time you do not have enough information, go back to the client and get as much information as possible on the target group. I mean, that's essential. You are the one to, finally have to find those people. And if you are over-promising because you don't have enough information, that's of course not very nice for you and for the client as well. But it is a matter of, collaboration. You do that together. You are in there together. So get as much information as possible, because based on that information you can advise your client who the actual target is, and then you can advise them on what's feasible in terms of, numbers, but also how to move forward. It is important to already, as recruiters or as a recruiting agency, to have a good picture of the person that you are looking for, because especially with patients, sometimes it can be so tricky. You are out there and for instance, that the universe size is so small. Where do you start? Well, if you don't have that information, it's very, very difficult.
Great, thank you. Well, I hope that answered your question, and I think you've sent some more info through. What we'll probably do is we'll come back to you, so then you can talk about this further with Anna. I think it sounds like perhaps she can help you further with the question and with the really particulars of your situation. I think we can take a few more questions, so send them in. Otherwise, we can always get back to you by email. Let me just switch to the last slide. Actually, here's our information. Let's take one more question. So how does profile recruitment help to find new respondents? They say to find a fresh sample.
Well, I think I mean, the example I have given, about the QOLs, it's kind of a snowball effect. Yeah, it is sometimes, the reason for some of the physicians not to deal with market researchers is because it involves a lot of bureaucration. It's a lot of work before actually they can even speak about what they know and their answers to our questions. So by using, profiles, you can be then brought into contact with new people and make it even easier, for them to participate. So it's really, the snowball effect. Using the network, not only your network, but using also things.
Great. One last question. I think we have time. Do you think recruitment will become cheaper? Is the question. I guess by way of this new profiling system.
Yeah, you might expect indeed that it would become cheaper. What I'm thinking is at the beginning it would not become cheaper because there is a lot of pre-matching work. So a lot of, creating the profiles. That would be an investment. However, I believe that on the long run the overall project costs might go down because, the profiles will build themselves over time. So at a given moment you will have those profiles already in-house. You don't have to be looking into the network. Of course, to get new respondents, you'll still be doing that, but you already have the profiles. I think the strength of this way of recruiting is really to shorten project timelines, is really to get quicker insights from the respondents. And I think in summertime we have just run a project, and it was like today we've got the go, and next week we almost had to deliver the insight. So it was really quick turnaround, and it helped us that the client was willing to work with profiles. Also because in the Netherlands, for instance, you have a very structured system. There are only certain diseases are only being treated in certain centers, so then you are limited anyways. Yeah.
I've just got a really interesting question also. I think I want to slip this one in there at the very end. You just mentioned, the person says, you just mentioned bureaucracy before a participant can join or answer a test session. So how are you handling PSAs, professional service agreements at the participant side? I don't know if that's a really big question.
Maybe you would do that. I think in the Netherlands we do that before we start the actual interview. We read out loud, what their rights are, and the code of conduct that we are conducting research under. So that's really before or after the interview themselves. But then you already have that respondent. So he's already in. He's already interested to participate. So it's just a step in between, which you can make as quick as possible. But I think it's also very important for them to know what we are actually doing with the input that they give us. So that's for both about our interest, I think.
Yeah, it's something that they would also want.
Yeah. Yeah, because some of, especially the new respondents who haven't actually participated in market research very often, they are also skeptic about, confidentiality, anonymity, and they want to find out more information on this kind of things. Yeah.
Yeah. Great. Okay, well, I'm gonna wrap things up. I know you guys have sent us some more questions in the meantime. What I will do is I'm gonna share these with Anna, and she will get in touch with you about what you want to know. And also, like I said, feel free to take our information, reach out to Anna if you have more questions, or if you have any questions for me on the more technical side or about any of our other webinar sessions that we have coming up. So I want to thank Anna and thank everyone else for joining us today. I know a few of you jumped into the session midway or after we had gotten started. Don't worry, we are going to be centering it around the slides and recording of the session to each of you. You'll probably have it in your inbox on Monday morning. Also, please feel free to share it, spread it around however you like. And also visit the URL that we have up there, skimgroup.com/webinars, to sign up for updates on our monthly webinars. We're going to be sharing any sort of sessions we have coming up that we think would be interesting for you. But there you can also have a look already at the topics we'll be having up until March already. We'll be doing sessions every month at the end of the month. So feel free to reach out if you want to know more. Our next session will actually be in October, and we're going to be talking about our vision for the year 2020. So also talking a bit about, some mobile field work, the 5x5 reality. We're focusing on 5 trends shaping the future of insights generation and market research, and specifically how to deliver these instant insights that Anna talked about today without detracting from the solidity of the solutions. So visit the URL to sign up, and on behalf of Anna and myself, I want to thank you once again, and we look forward to hearing from you soon. Have a great evening. Have a great weekend.
Thank you very much. Have a great weekend, and I look forward to get in touch with you. Let me know if you have more questions or you need any piece of advice on this. I'll be happy to help out.
Great. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.